is pretty much bedded. When it comes to pan covers, I use cupcake filters. You can go into a Walmart or Dollar General. You can buy a 90 pack for $2. This is a receipt paper. I didn't bring any cupcake filters with me. That was some hard ground. I'm still out of breath. It doesn't take much. Oh yeah. Feel like I'm at home now. We're going to talk a little bit about that part of the bedding. I normally carry a paintbrush, but I don't have one with me today. If I snap my fingers, y'all gonna hear me squeal like a girl. What I do is I clean that pan off where I can see it. You go in there and you press everywhere that there's not a pan. By doing that, the only spot that moves is that square. If I go in there and bed it with peat, I've seen people use peat moss. Wax sand does not pack very well. It does pack, not as good as regular dirt with a little moisture in it. But you can go in there and pack that down. You can sift your debris back over it. Don't get no rocks in there. And you can blend that thing back in to where it looks like nothing was ever changed, especially with sand. One of the things I help do that, I'll come out here and I'll grab a bunch of stuff from different areas. And instead of just sifting right here, sift all out there. Make it all look the same. Same way on the backside over here, same way over here. I don't want that little dirt pattern with a flat set. It's great with a dirt hole. Dirt hole, you got dirt dug out of the hole, it looks natural. A flat set with a beaver foot stuck there, a round pattern this big around does not look natural. He's not gonna step in it most of the time. They will eventually, especially if they come back around to it. My bad. But by doing that, by blending everything in, I've got natural guides for his feet. I've got my tractor that's somewhat hidden. You can put dirt over top of it. I promise they know it's there. You can take your bait and lure, you can smear it right up under that beaver foot, stick it to the ground. They still know it's there. You're not gonna fool his nose. And you say, well, I can't smell it, or it's under the dirt. If you ask a lot of people, canine trappers, when you got a dirt hole set and it rains on it, it usually gets a little better for coyotes. Everything kind of gets rained on, looks weathered in. A lot of that is not to do with the actual weathered part of the set. A lot of that is to deal with what's washed in that hole on top of your bait and lure. It's not as strong anymore. It's done calmed down. Certain smells, they'll stay back for several days. That's why you hear the people say, sets don't get going good until 5, 6, 7 days in. Well, that's because that smell has calmed down a lot. It's not as strong. If you can smell it, the coyote can really smell it. You almost want to put it in there where you can't smell it. You want to be able to stick your head down in the hole and barely get a whiff of it. Then you know you're right, because it don't take much. When these coyotes are working these sets, when I was talking about downwind, coyotes will work on the downwind side. They might eventually, if you got a dirt hole, and this dirt hole is facing this way and the trap's on this side of the attractor, and the wind's going that way, yes, that coyote might get caught in that dirt hole. But I can promise you, if you put a camera on it, that coyote would come from downwind and walk to the hole. And I ask people a lot of times, so what side is the front of your set? You know, if this is my set, what side is the front of it? I tell them, I said, whatever way the wind's blowing. The downwind side is the front of your set. I don't care what kind of set you made, that's the downwind side. That's where he's gonna come from. If this was a dirt hole facing this way, the coyote's gonna come from that side. He's eventually gonna try to get what's in that hole. He's gonna spin around, and that's when he's gonna get caught. If you ever pay attention to it, those of you run, any type of trap, for instance, if you're setting this thing and if you're running your dog to your attractor, which I do a lot of times on flat sets, if you're running the dog to the attractor, you know which way that coyote stepped in that trap. If you catch that coyote and you look at his foot in the trap, if that dog is on the back side of the trap, he approached it from the way that you set it. Well, a lot of times if you look at it, that coyote's foot will be in it this way, and that dog will be on the lower side of his pad. Well, that's going to tell you right there, he stepped over your attractor to get caught. You can learn a lot about coyotes and how they work your sets just by how they're caught in your trap. Now, if you're setting it at setting it at a 90-degree angle to the hole in dirt holes, trench type styles, and you're setting it this way, it's hard to know that, because if he steps in it this way or that way, his foot's going to twist one way or the other. It's a crapshoot then of which way he got worked on it.